Greetings, I'm Phil West, and I welcome you to another Tomorrow's World Webcast. In this brief webcast, I want to focus on a vital aspect of true Christianity that very few professing Christians give any attention to today. I want to say right up front that without acknowledging and proving this vital information, it's simply impossible to understand the plan of God. And yes, God has a plan. We are not here by some random circumstance or through macroevolution. You're alive and I'm alive because a great benevolent God has a plan. How can we know that? How can we be sure? You need to understand the biblical holy days. But even before we get there, we need to review the true state of the world that we all live in today. If we look at 2 Corinthians 4, we see a statement made by the Apostle Paul that still holds true for mankind today because the same being is still holding the same office he did in Paul's time. Paul states, "But even if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled to those who are perishing, whose minds the God of this age has blinded." Isaiah 25:7 states, "And he will destroy on this mountain the surface of the covering cast over all people and the veil that is spread over all nations." The true gospel of Jesus Christ, not just a gospel about the person of Jesus Christ, but the same gospel he came preaching, is currently veiled to the world as a whole. They do not understand the true gospel. It's like a covering cast that is spread over all nations. The truth is being hidden from the world as a whole by the god of this age, Satan the devil. He's mentioned in Revelation 12:9, "So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world." Does God's plan involve just leaving the world in ignorance of His truth and His plan? Not at all. That's where the vital nature of God's holy days come into play. Instead of accepting the pagan holidays that are simply, quote, traditions of men, why not look into what Jesus Christ kept and what He taught His disciples to keep and to observe? The Bible describes 7 annual holy days. 7 in the Bible is a number God uses to symbolize perfection and completion. These 7 annual holy days spell out step by step the great plan of God for all mankind. There are 3 holy days to be kept in the spring and 4 that take place in the fall. Actually, all 4 of the later holy days take place in the 7th month on God's sacred calendar. Again, 7 symbolizes completeness and finality. God laid out the holy days to coincide with the harvest seasons in Israel. The early spring harvest symbolized the smaller harvest and points to the fact that God is simply not calling everyone now. The veil is still covering the eyes of most in this world. The larger harvest happened in the fall of the year, symbolizing the fact that God plans to bring the vast majority of mankind into His family later on, in the time frame long referred to by God's church as the millennium. And then after the millennium, during the Great White Throne Judgment period. Remember Isaiah 25:7? It mentions a time when God will destroy the surface of the covering cast over all people and the veil that is spread over all nations. Are you currently observing any holidays in your church that bring that most encouraging truth to light? Chances are you're not. It's called the Feast of Tabernacles. And Zechariah 14:16 states that all nations will observe this great feast when the kingdom of God has been established on the earth. You need to know more. You need to keep these feast days as commanded by God. Please read our booklet, The Holy Days, God's Master Plan. Don't wait. Do it now if you really want to understand the plan of God. And be sure to check out all of our other literature at tomorrowsworld.org. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.